Now, would you look at this? We have got Irish nachos on the menu this morning. Daniel Lambert has been hard at work. Oh, look at those. And I have resisted this for the last hour they've been sitting here and I haven't tucked into them yet. So, Daniel, you tell me how we make these and I'll eat them.
Well, Tommy, very, very simple.
Perfect.
It's the perfect snack. I absolutely love them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sweat off some of my smoked bacon. So this is just like the smoked bacon, you know, you'd have for breakfast. You know, just cut it up. Now it's like little lardons, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some beef fat in here as well, okay, just for extra flavour.
All right.
So you'll notice I had the beef mince already cooked off, okay?
Where would you get beef fat now from? Because I see goose kind of duck fat and stuff for doing your potatoes.
Yeah, so it's funny enough. So you know when you buy beef mince in the shop, you have different percentages of fat. So you have 8%, 10%, 18%. So this is a 10% fat beef mince.
Okay.
Okay, and I cooked it off, and that's the fat that was left.
No way.
Yeah, so we're going to take a good bit of it out, but we're also going to use it to flavour our meat today, okay? So yeah. So I'm just sweating off the bacon.
Sorry, that's the amount of fat is in that bit of mince?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's 10%. That's not even the highest percentage you can get.
That's unbelievable.
I know, yeah. It's madness.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you use that to add a bit of flavour to the bacon?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is going to go in with some onions. Yeah, bacon fat and beef fat are I love them. Absolutely love them.
And you kind of need that fat, though, to give the flavour, do you not?
Ah, you do, yeah. Yeah, for me, fat equals flavour. Especially, like, when you're wanting, like, you know, you're waking up the next morning, you're feeling a bit groggy, or even the evening time sometimes, and you're like, you know, I want something nice and greasy.
Yeah, let's be honest, we're making nachos here. There's going to be a lot of cheese involved.
Exactly,
so it's not really the healthiest. But
exactly, but
it's good comfort food.
It is. It's good comfort food. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in my beef mince, okay, which I already have cooked off, as I said. So yeah, give that a quick toss around, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some Irish stout, okay? So this is kind of like Irish stout. Yeah, so we're just going to add a small bit in there. So that gives a lovely kind of a flavour to the beef mince. And I'm going to add in some, so basically beef stock. You can make this at the house yourself. Okay. But I like to use the stock pots.
So instead of making, you know, mixing it with water, you had the stock pot and then some stout? Right?
Yeah. Okay. So it's all yeah.
Heat's gone off, is it?
No, it's all good. So, yeah, I'm going to move on to the potatoes nice and quickly. So, Maris Pipers, these are the best, okay? They grow in real kind of acidic soil, so they get real fluffy, and that's how they get crispy, because of the starch content. So, what I'm going to do is, you've noticed just in front of you there, they're nice and thin, but they're not too thin. See the way I still have kind of like, you know, a small bit of potato in the middle of them?
It kind of looks like a chopped finger to me. So, yeah, so you don't use a mandolin, or you don't do like kind of a grater like that? No, you're better to cut it?
Better to cut it by hand, because that way you'll still have a bit of spud left in it, you know? If you use a mandolin, what happens is basically they get too crispy. And what happens is when you put the beef mince on top, they go very, very soggy. So that's...
Because I'd be kind of thinking with nachos, normal nachos, they're obviously very crispy and they're a lot thinner.
Exactly, but it's different with potatoes, because potatoes can go soggy very, very quickly instead of corn tortillas.
So when the beef goes on, you need that bit of crunch still, the bit of...
Exactly.
Meat to it, I suppose. Yeah.
So what I've done is usually I use a deep fryer for this, okay? But today what we're going to do is we're going to do something different. We're going to use an air fryer, okay? So literally it's just 170 degrees. Okay.
I have one of these at home and I've never used it.
That's it. You've never used it?
No.
Well,
it's like a wedding present that we got like 6 years ago.
Well, now you know what to put in it next. So yeah, I've got them on there. So I obviously have some already ready here as well.
Apologies to the guest that brought me that air fryer if you're watching this. Yeah. So how long do you put that into the air fryer for? And do you just lump the potatoes on top of each other?
Yeah, so I wouldn't put in too much. I put in a small layer at the bottom. Instead of like piling everything in, because it won't go crispy, or they won't cook, and you'll just have problems then trying to cook them.
So do them in batches?
Do them in batches, yeah. They're small little batches. But I mean, one batch should be enough for about 3 to 4 people. So I've got about, for one batch, I've got about 3 or 4 potatoes in there, sliced like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in some Worcestershire sauce or Worcester sauce. How do you say it?
Worcester sauce.
People have their own different ways of doing it, but yeah, some of that in there. Okay, and then I'm going to add in my spices. So I've got some cumin in here. Now, this is kind of one of the moments where I say, whatever you have in the press, just fire it in the pan. But yeah, no, you need cumin.
Throwing everything in.
Cumin, paprika, okay, some cayenne pepper. Now, this is kind of your basis to any spices you want, like any kind of nachos you want to make. So it's cumin, paprika, and garlic powder, and cayenne pepper. That is all you need for nacho spice. Now, I like loads of garlic.
Now
They can
you're-
use fresh garlic, but I think because we're using all powder, we're gonna keep it like that.
No, see, this scares me because I'll start pouring it over like that and I'll never know measurements and it doesn't taste right.
Oh, okay, right.
So are you
you're-
talking like a teaspoon there, or a tablespoon?
for the portion I'm making here, you're talking 2 teaspoons per spice.
Okay.
And if you like garlic, throw in a third one. You know?
Okay,
But
right.
it's up to yourself. Do you like garlic?
Yeah, I love it, yeah.
There we go. So I cook the spices out for about 30 seconds to a minute. Okay, you want to cook the spices out. If you don't cook spices out, what happens is when you eat them, they kind of get caught in your throat, and it's not a nice feeling. Especially if you've got guests over for dinner and stuff, you'll know about it.
And you wouldn't put more of the stout in that? That's kind of done.
No, just a small bit, just a couple of measurements of it there. I'm talking about maybe 50 mil. That's all you need. And then the beef stock.
A few splashes of Worcestershire sauce then as
Yeah.
well. Okay. And then
I'm going to go with my.
tomatoes.
So I've just had chopped tomatoes here. Okay, and this is going to make us our lovely base for the nachos. All right, so you can see that's coming together nicely there. Now, the longer you leave this, the nicer it is. Especially if I'm making the likes of curries and stuff like that, or spaghetti bolognese. Have you ever noticed, like, when you're making dinner at home, excuse me, the next day, the spices, see, the spices are actually coming out of the pan now, I can smell them.
Yeah.
But the next day, stuff tastes nicer. Do you ever notice that?
Right.
Yeah.
What, so you're better off kind of maybe even leave it overnight?
Oh, yeah.
No way. So
Yeah.
make a nice mince like that, like a bolognese, whatever, and leave it in the fridge? And
Yeah,
then
leave it in the
just
fridge.
reheat it the next morning?
Yeah, the spices bind together and it tastes way nicer. I don't know if you've noticed that, but if you make food
didn't
and
know
then the
that
next
at all,
day, yeah,
no.
especially with spices, the longer they kind of sit together, the nicer they are.
Okay.
So yeah, that's our sauce made. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to assemble the nachos.
Okay.
So you can see that's them there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so easy. Oh,
That's
I have
easy,
some.
isn't it?
I actually have some already ready over here. So this is really simple. All you do is spread your nachos out, well, your potatoes, and then we're gonna go in with our sauce.
Just spoon it over the top.
Yeah, just spin it over the top, and we're gonna go on with our spring onion.
And if you don't have an air fryer, could I do those potatoes in the oven?
You could, yeah.
Okay.
You could, or you could do them in the deep fryer. Or what you can do is you can actually put them in a dehydrator, but not everybody has one of those.
I never even heard of that. Okay, so right, just throw that all on top.
Throw on
and then
some jalapenos. If you want to put cheese on, you can as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw these in here just to get the potatoes cooked to the bottom. And I actually have one that's already ready. I'll show you. And
well, you've already got one here ready, but I'm devouring it at the moment.
and I have one here as well that I've grilled cheese on.
Wow.
So I like to top mine off with some guacamole. Very simple to make this. This is actually my uncle's recipe. It's very, very nice. My Uncle Kerry's. So
Look at that.
I pop on some of this, some sour cream. Are you a fan of jalapenos? Do you like jalapenos?
Look at that. Sorry, Daniel.
The jalapenos.
No, I'm saying, I'm trying to avoid that.
Look at that.
I'm half eating this here. I can't even concentrate anymore.
I like to put on the red ones and the green ones. It kind of gives it a bit of a, bit of a texture and a nice bit of a colour.
Yeah, well, they look nicely on the side to my one there.
Small bit of fresh parsley and some spring onion.
Look at that.
And that's them.
Daniel Lambert, look at that. Irish take on Mexican nachos. Delicious. Thank you so much for that.